Hey guys, Retro Badger here. So, the new Star Trek Resurgence game has just been released. It was released about an hour ago. This is the first time I've ever played this. I can't wait, so let's get into it. Here we go. I don't know what to expect, really. Okay, so I guess that's a reminder that we've got a multiple choice thing going on. There's also a comic book collection that's come out for this game, which I'm trying to get hold of right now, but they seem to be selling out everywhere. Apparently it sets up the story for the game, so I'm quite interested in it. Ooh. Federation shuttlecraft.
Stardate 57931.4. The crew is restless. After spending too many months piecing our ship back together, we're finally about to venture out on a new mission. And the crew isn't letting this unprecedented ion storm slow them down. They're ready for something different. I know I am. Perhaps more than any of them. Fortunately, nothing ever stays the same. It's entropy. The nature of the universe. Change is inevitable. And while entropy says order gives way to chaos, in this case, change is good. Our new first officer is en route to the Resolute. Jara Rydek. I know she'll bring a welcome dose of new blood to the crew.
Nice visuals. There's an ion storm. Oop.
Thanks.
No problem.
I'm not great with flying. But these little shuttles are the worst.
Stick around in Starfleet and you'll be sure to see worse than this. I have.
And you're here to talk about it.
In the flesh.
That's good. Sorry, I'm a little anxious.
I hadn't noticed.
I'm on my way to my first assignment. When we get to the starbase, I'm transferring on to the Resolute.
So am I.
It won't be easy for Jara to step in at the
Ooh.
11th hour like this.
Is that Miranda class? I
She's
think
half
it
the
is.
officer I knew she could become when she was a cadet at Starfleet Academy.
Excelsior.
She'll be the XO this ship needs right now.
Nova class. Steam runner at the top there. Oh, this is ship heaven. Okay, so we've got an Excelsior class, bottom left, Sentinel, a Nova class. There we go, Nova class, close up. Oh, I love it how we just saw those TNG ships. As you know, I'm such a ship fan of Star Trek. It's one of my favourite aspects of Star Trek is the ships. It always has been.
A starbase on the very edge of Federation space. Long way from home now.
I'm so glad this is set in the later part of the TNG era.
Commander? I'm not usually such a nervous wreck, by the way. I actually did well at the Academy.
Oh yeah?
Maybe you've heard of the Torvalin test?
Sounds familiar.
It's a tactical simulator that makes the Kobayashi Maru look like a picnic on Pintaris 5. Anyway, I finished in the top 20. Not just in my class. I mean, all time. In the history of the Academy. So, there's that.
Only top 20, huh? So I guess there's room for improvement.
Well, it's really, really hard.
So I've heard.
Please place your hand here. Hold it there for a few seconds.
This wouldn't be some sort of anti-shapeshifter scam, would it, by any chance?
Welcome, Commander Rydek.
Wait, you're Jara Rydek? You absolutely crushed the Torvalin test. You finished in what, like the top 3?
That would be me.
Now I'm really... It's an honor to meet you, Commander. Sorry, I didn't realize before. I just came off the shuttle and was glad to be on solid ground.
When people say top 3, what they really mean is 3rd place. I'm not first, so there's always room for improvement.
I'll, keep working then.
I believe Commander Ermot is expecting you. He's in the concourse just ahead.
See you on the Resolute.
Nice. So far, I like the visuals. I think the detail in the faces and the emotions in the face, I like that. I'm playing this on the Xbox Series S, as
Good day, Commander.
some of the reviews I've seen of the PC version haven't been that good. There's some frame rate issues, glitches, etc. I've heard the console versions generally are better at the moment. Maybe they'll patch the PC versions, I'm not sure, but I believe it's a console game that's been ported to PC.
Commander Ermot is a Bolian, so I'm looking for someone with blue skin. Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm just... Well, I'm not sure where my departure dock is. The Resolute's gonna leave without me.
Look here. The Resolute is leaving from this dock.
Oh, you're right. Nerves must be getting to me.
Another nervous crewman.
Thanks so much, Commander.
Yeah, I think with the detail on the faces, obviously she's going to be a main character. I think there's more detail in her face.
Starbase 128 has 4 docks. Excuse me.
Chell? Oh, please be Chell or Brex. No, it's not. Blue Man Group!
Welcome to the edge of the galaxy, Commander Rydek. I'm Commander Jan Ermot, Operations Officer on the Resolute.
And part-time Blue Man Group.
Commander? I hope there wasn't too much trouble getting here. This storm isn't making anything easy for us right now.
It was a bit bumpy, but otherwise okay.
My apologies. This storm is unlike anything I've seen before. We're grateful you were able to come fill our first officer vacancy at such short notice. From everything I've read and everything I've heard, we're lucky you were available to us. Coming from a premier starship and all. To our little research vessel.
What exactly have you heard about me?
First in your class at the Academy. Received the Starfleet Award of Valor during the Dominion War. Most recently, Tactical Officer and Chief of Security on the USS Endeavor.
You've done your homework?
Like I said, we're very lucky.
Ooh. Well, we know it's a Centaur-class ship, and that looks like a
The
Centaur.
USS Resolute. She may not look like much compared to the bigger ships, but as far as science vessels go, she can more than hold her own. And she doesn't look so bad considering 6 months ago she was nearly cracked in half, venting plasma, fighting for her life.
It was an accident?
The equipment malfunction. An accident suggests fault, but no one's to blame. It was a planned test, but the warp core was pushed beyond its limits. It destabilized the dilithium, there was a runaway reaction, and the warp bubble deformed. We thought we could reach a higher resonant frequency, but it was more than she could handle. Cost us our first officer and 22 of our crew. At the end of the day, we're all responsible for each other.
I can't even begin to imagine what that must have been like for you. I'm so sorry for your loss.
Thank you. It does weigh heavy. There are some things you can't forget.
It's been 6 months. What's the attitude among the crew now?
Unsettled. But I hope that a new mission will help them move forward. If not, move on. Listen. I realize you've known Captain Solana for quite some time, and I'm sure you're ready to bring your best. But I should warn you that when the captain announced you would be the new first officer, there were those who felt it was a mistake, that he should have promoted from within. So you might want to tread lightly at first. Until they come to value your contributions as much as he does.
Thank you. Always good to have a sense for what you're walking into.
I just thought you ought to know.
I appreciate it.
Starfleet has assigned us a high-priority mission to the Hotari region. I'll let the captain brief you on board.
We can explore the impact of our choices. Oh, look at that. Now, I do believe there is a website we can go to where you can actually explore your choices in more depth.
Always eager to see you.
Will we be mission ready in time?
We have every intention. The crew has been working around the clock to get the ship ready. There's still so much to do.
Stuck. I got just the thing.
Okay, so it is one of those type of puzzle games, but that's what we kind of expected. In fact, you know, this kind of reminds me a little of the Borg game. Remember the Borg game in the 90s, which had full video, actually, hours and hours of video, and you had to click on things in the video, but yeah, it was a bit clunky. Had Q in it, that was cool. Yeah, you're in the Battle of Wolf 359. Okay.
That.
The lower decks. Oh, so I guess we're in the service area, aren't we? Of course.
I thought that thing was totally fried.
Ah, so they're not officers, are they? Looking at the ranking insignia.
Nice work, Carter.
Nothing to it, Nilly.
And not a moment too soon. The boss wants us down in engineering. Like, now.
I'm assuming... Yeah, because Starfleet works the way of the military, doesn't it? Where you can either be an officer, or you can just enlist. I suppose be like a crewman. I'm assuming is what these two are. Oh, nice. So, I'm definitely getting Excelsior.
Good to see her fully operational again.
Yeah, I'm getting
And if she
Excelsior
breaks,
class
we'll just fix
vibes
her.
here.
Junction 34B gives you access to the tubes.
Which gives you an indication of the ship's age, and it's obviously just been updated.
Engineering.
I heard the new XO just arrived. Won't be long before we get underway. I just hope whatever Chovok called us down for, it's something good. I can never tell with him. I'd rather not end up degaussing plasma manifolds. Hanging upside down makes me queasy.
You and me working together, we can tackle anything he throws at us.
Your optimism is positively contagious.
Ooh,
Looks
what
like
gun
we got here
noises?
before.
Lieutenant Commander Chovak.
We were
Ah!
just looking for you, Commander.
Petty Officers Edsalar, Diaz. I was beginning to think you would be late. We are all hands on deck right now, which means if you are not at your post at the appointed time, I do not have someone to replace you. A point I have been forced to make to Petty Officer Edsalar on repeated occasions.
That's the officer, yeah.
Apologies for the delay, Commander.
I do not want your apologies. Simply see to it that it does not happen again.
So, I don't suppose you wanted us down here to check in before we go off duty?
Equip yourselves in EV suits to work on the exterior of the hull. I need you to tune the structural integrity field for optimal performance. The subspace distortions and ionic interference we are experiencing are preventing the proper calibration, but this ship must be ready to depart shortly, despite the storm. The precise nature of these disturbances are not fully understood, but many systems have been affected by the wide band of emissive activity.
Whatever it throws at us, we'll be ready. We've got the best chief engineer in the fleet.
I am a Vulcan, Mr. Diaz. Flattery is not necessary. All that I require is that you do your job. Right now, that entails critical preparations, because long-range sensors show that these disturbances will be more severe at our destination, the Hotari system. You have your orders. Do not delay.
Yes,
Roger
Commander
that.
Chovok.
Chovok?
All hands on deck.
Oh, what's that?
All hands on deck. That's what Chovok said. You know what that means? It means this ship isn't ready to go out and the brass know it. So they're throwing every warm body at it. And they're going to leave on schedule.
It all comes down to us, Nilly. We're the ones who'll get it ready.
I know what we can do. But this isn't just any old refit or any old relaunch.
Oh, whoa.
Excuse me.
A lot
Ooh,
of new
space
faces
suits.
coming on board. It's gotta be tough coming as a replacement. That's for sure.
They seem all right. Something that happened 6 months ago while they were off on another ship? Well, that's nothing to hold against them.
Yeah, you're right. I guess getting a little new blood on board doesn't hurt. Hold on. Now there's an old face I didn't expect to see again. Hey, Miranda!
You weren't gonna leave without me, were you?
Miranda, you're here?
We thought you were staying on the Adirondack.
Transfer came in at the last minute, so I figured I'd slum it on this bucket of bolts. Looks like you got her back together pretty nicely.
It's cool seeing the first
I wasn't
contact
sure what
suits.
to expect.
I'm gonna take the high road here, pretend you didn't say that, and welcome you aboard.
He's a better diplomat than I am.
He still owes me a bottle of Saurian brandy. Don't think I forgot.
Oh yeah, it's coming back to me now.
Maybe Carter can rustle up that bottle and we can give you a proper welcome. As soon as we wrap up this quick little spacewalk.
We saw those spacesuits in Voyager as well. I like the
Here,
style.
let me help you.
Thanks.
So what's the word? Are you back in the security rotation?
Yep. Still running with the usual suspects.
Whoa.
Good to go.
Ooh.
See you on the other side.
Activating magnetic souls.
Oh, wow. Let's go for a stroll. Oh, there's that Miranda class. Ooh, disorienting.
Half you never gets old.
Let's go.
Oh, wow. Oh, it's like the conference room there. Let's see. Could that be the bridge, actually? I almost wonder if it is. Yeah. Steam runner up there. And ready room?
Captain Solano should be here momentarily. You'll have to forgive me, I don't know much about Kobleods. But my understanding is you need a steady supply of duridium to keep your cell structure stabilized, or bad things start to happen. And we have plenty of duridium in sickbay, so there's no risk of running out.
Thank you.
Feel free to make yourself at home. And help yourself to whatever you like from the replicator.
Big window.
The first mineral Captain Solano ever discovered. Always was the nostalgic type.
So it looks like occasionally we do get the opportunity to walk around and explore. Occasionally. Which is a nice touch, you know, considering it's mainly a narrative-driven game. Oh, we've got a globe over here.
Can't wait to plot a course myself.
Oops.
Jara Rydek. Last time I saw you, it was graduation from the academy. You'd already secured one of the most prestigious assignments possible. And you were burning with enough ambition to fuel 7 trips around the Necrid Expanse.
It's good to see you again, Captain.
I could not be happier to have you on the Resolute. My only regret is that we couldn't provide you with a warmer welcome. The arrival of a first officer to her new ship deserves a bit of fanfare.
That would be totally unnecessary. I don't need any pomp and circumstance.
You've been here all of 5 minutes, and already you're trying to make us more efficient. I like it. As I'm sure you've heard, we've had a rough go of it these last 6 months. The ship suffered some damage, but not nearly as much as the crew.
You'll have to forgive me. I don't really know the details.
Starfleet has been kind enough to keep the story contained, probably because they want to protect me. But I don't mind telling you. We were on the verge of a major scientific breakthrough. A quantum leap forward in warp core technology. 10,000 teradynes per second. The ability to travel at a sustained rate of speed longer and faster than we ever dreamed. What would have been the crowning achievement of my career. Right there. Within our grasp. Until it all went so horribly wrong. We pushed her too hard, and a warp core malfunction overloaded the system, creating a pressure gradient way beyond what the ship can handle. It was heartbreaking. We lost some of our best people. As captain, I have to take full responsibility. It was my decision to make, and I have to live with the consequences.
We all know the risks when we sign up. There are no guarantees. As much as we tell ourselves otherwise.
True. But as captain, my job is to mitigate and manage the risks as much as possible. And that's where I failed. In my defense, I will say, I might have avoided the whole ordeal if my senior staff had been willing to trust me. There was a lot of pushback from my former XO, and I think that cost me his confidence. I don't want you to pull any punches. Certainly not on my account. But once we decide on a course of action, I need everyone to fully commit to the mission. Anything short of that just won't work. And that's when things start to go sideways.
Whether I agree or disagree, I can promise that I'll be honest to a fault.
Good. That's exactly what I'm looking for. But at the end of the day, it has to be my call. Look, I'll be blunt. We can't afford another mistake. Or at least, I can't. I feel like my career is hanging in the balance here. We need a win. Something to restore the crew's confidence.
I understand.
On a more positive note, Starfleet has tasked us with what they're calling a mission of the highest priority. Escorting a senior diplomat to Hotari space. Two previously peaceful and otherwise non-aggressive civilizations now find themselves on the brink of all-out war.
So it's a peacekeeping mission.
I see it as a golden opportunity to not only prove what the Resolute and her crew are truly capable of, but also a mission for which we're uniquely qualified.
Diplomat, eh?
This ionic storm. Our long-range sensors suggest it's several orders of magnitude stronger than anything on record. A total anomaly like nothing we've seen before. And you'll never guess where it leads.
Hatari.
Exactly. Very nearly in the precise location where we're headed. Where I imagine the interference will be exponentially greater.
Who is the senior diplomat we're escorting?
That I don't know. Starfleet hasn't said. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. I expect we'll have some rough sledding when we arrive, so I need you to prepare the crew for the worst. There's just one more thing I want to clarify up front. The metric that for me will be the ultimate measure of your success.
What is it?
If after serving as my first officer, you don't one day find yourself with a ship of your own, then I will consider it my personal failure. When that might happen is entirely up to you. But it goes without saying, you have my full support.
It's been a dream of mine since before I can remember. So I would be honored to become a captain someday.
As long as you're willing to do the work, you have my promise. I'll do everything in my power to see that it happens.
Thank you.
That's good.
Come, let me introduce you to the crew.
It's funny because when I've just actually watched the first episode of The Next Generation again, and it's funny when Will Riker meets Picard for the first time, it's quite frosty. You know, he's very cold with him, but then of course he warms up to him by the end of the second episode. That was not a bad meeting, I think.
Everyone, if I could have your attention for a moment. I'd like to introduce Commander Jara Rydek, our new first officer. Some quick introductions. This is Lieutenant Handar, our helmsman, one of the best in the business.
One of?
Well, what he lacks in humility, he more than makes up for in ability.
Bajoran?
A pleasure to meet you, Commander.
Likewise.
Next, we have Commander Westbrook, our Chief Science Officer. I've come to rely on his expert counsel on a regular basis.
Pleasure.
Commander Rydek, it is such an honor to meet you.
This is our tactical officer, Lieutenant Bedrosian, who's been looking forward to meeting you for about as long as I can remember.
I've been following your career for quite some time, and I look forward to learning as much as I can from you.
If anything, the honor is mine.
Well, I have to admit, one of the reasons I've followed your career is because you're part Kobliad, because of what you've overcome. Starfleet stands up for people who can't defend themselves, and you were one of those people once. But since then, you've done so much to protect others who need it. I really admire that. So, you've been something of an inspiration to me. Not that I've done anything close to what you've done.
It's like we've got a fan.
You really do know a thing or two about me. I'm glad I could inspire you, but it's important to chart your own path.
Thanks. You can count on it.
And then, of course, you've already met Commander Ermont. Please, do everything you can to make Commander Rydek feel at home here. I'll be on the starbase. I have an urgent meeting with the starbase commander to get our authorization to get underway. If they drag their feet any longer, we won't make our rendezvous. The bridge is yours.
Big moment, this. Oh, okay. We get to walk around the bridge. Well, there's our Brex Chell replacement.
Operations, staffing, supplies. There's a lot to keep track of on a starship. Good thing we have Commander Ermont.
You know, there are quite a few commanders on this ship. Tactical.
Tactical station. Hopefully a diplomatic mission won't require we use our weapons much. But if it comes to that, we'll be ready.
I find it interesting on the Galaxy class and, well, this ship. And Voyager. I know Voyager, they had a seat, didn't they? But they're all standing up. And you would think out of all of the positions, tactical, you'd want to be strapped in, wouldn't you? Because you're going to get thrown around.
Science station. The Resolute is a science vessel, primarily. Might explain Commander Westbrook's attitude. I'll have to speak with him later.
Okay, so in terms of the bridge, they've kind of gone for the non-traditional type, where you have that long front, like we've seen in the newer Star Treks.
Impressive range of view. The helm. The Resolute is a refitted Centaur class, meaning it's capable of quick maneuvers. Can't wait to see what she can do.
Have we ever actually seen the Centaur class on screen? I'm thinking back, and maybe in the background, possibly, but I don't remember one.
Commander, Chief Engineer Chovak needs to lower the structural integrity field. He's sent a crew out to recalibrate the emitters in response to the danger posed by the storm. We just need your go-ahead.
Permission granted.
Lowering structural integrity field, now.
Entering maintenance mode.
So far, no glitches.
Condition blue.
Blue alert.
The storm is getting worse.
Looks like they turned off the SIF.
Great. Let's get to that emitter.
Whoa, look at that water cell. Oh, here we go. It's funny, the Star Trek game from 2012 also had some actions
Every time
like
we're out
this.
here, I half expect to see her in pieces again.
She's still got some scars on her. It adds character.
When I joined Starfleet, all I wanted was a ride out of town. But this isn't exactly how I pictured it.
On the outside of the ship?
No.
Ooh.
Sometimes it feels like we're just part of the machinery. Don't you want more than that? I mean, Starfleet is noble and all.
Yeah, of course I do. Starfleet's an open door. We just have to walk through it. You wanted to get away. I enlisted because I didn't want to wait years just to get out and see the galaxy. I wanted to go somewhere, see new worlds, look up at a sky no one's ever seen before. Just because I'm cranking a hyperspanner up in a Jeffries tube today doesn't mean that's all I'll ever be. Diaz to Commander Chovak. We are at the SIF emitter.
Chovak.
Acknowledged. You may proceed with the recalibration.
We have a Vulcan engineer. What shall we name him? Ooh, I know. I like Tuvok. Can't use that one. We've already used him. Chovak? Yeah, Chovak. Perfect. We can get away with that. To be fair, a lot of the Vulcan names are similar. To Pal. To Pal, was it? Yeah, T'Pau, wasn't that the name of her mother?
Beginning recalibration.
It's a Prim? Right, what are we doing here? Oh. Okay.
Careful. Too much action and harmonics will deflect the alignment.
What, like that? Oh, this is quite tricky. It's not just a case of putting it in the same direction. It's opposites. Okay.
Looks good. That wasn't so hard.
Did we do something wrong? Red usually isn't good.
Commander Westbrook, right? Chief Science Officer.
You remembered my name and my rank. Impressive. Yes, I'm the Chief Science Officer, and I have the dubious honor of being the most senior officer on this bridge. I know this ship inside and out. Better than just about anyone.
Well, I'm so glad you said that. Now I know exactly who to turn to when I have questions.
Questions are more Commander Ermont's territory. Captain Solano primarily relies on my knowledge and expertise when he needs answers. I'm curious, though. A Kobliad, or half in your case, is an odd choice for First Officer, given your vulnerable condition and all.
Huh.
But if, as an example, we found ourselves in a hostile situation, and you were suddenly incapacitated because you needed an infusion, what would happen then?
Wow. Okay, that guy needs to learn some manners, I think.
You'd leave Captain Solano without an XO. Granted, that would be a worst-case scenario.
In my entire career, it's never been an issue, or caused the slightest problem. And I don't expect this to be any different.
I was just curious, that's all. Listen, can I be blunt, Commander?
I see no reason to stop now.
Commander Sutherland, your predecessor, was one of the best first officers in all of Starfleet. His record was impeccable and his reputation was without equal. I mean no disrespect, but the shoes you're stepping into are almost impossible to fill. He was loved by the crew. And he was one of my closest friends.
Mr. Westbrook, if you have some kind of problem with me, and you just met me so it has nothing to do with me, you're gonna have to figure out how to get over it. Because I'm here, and I'm not going anywhere. Do you read me?
Loud and clear. I'll stick to science. That is what this ship is for.
Very well.
I don't like
Seeing
him.
as Captain Solano is on the starbase, let me give you an update on this ion storm we're flying into. It's unusual, unlike anything I've ever seen. At the moment, I can't tell you if the Resolute will shrug it off or if we're putting ourselves at risk. However, if we learn more about its patterns, its nature, we can come up with a scientific countermeasure. Just a moment.
We've got a massive energy wave inbound.
On screen.
Oh gosh.
Tracing its trajectory.
Starbase docking clamps are holding.
The storm's emissions are fluctuating, coming in waves. And if my projections are right, we're about to get hit by a wide-band burst of ionic energy. Like a tsunami.
I'm reading power abnormality.
Red alert!
Aye.
Gosh.
Evacuating main gangway and retracting.
Putting sensor visualization on screen.
With the structural integrity field shut down, we can't take a direct hit.
Time to impact. 1 minute.
Shield systems are severely impacted. We have limited protection.
I need every available solution. What are our options?
We can weaken the impact of the storm with a deflector pulse.
There's a better way.
I'm sending all auxiliary power to the deflector dish.
Send the aux power to the shields. We can't reactivate the entire shield bubble, but it's a directional threat. So we can orient all we have towards the wave. You have to believe me.
We only get one shot at this. We can't afford to get it wrong.
I'm thinking what happened in Voyager.
That's right, which is why
I'm gonna go with
we send
shields.
power to our shields.
Deflector pulse.
Petrosian, get those shields up.
Was it a
Rerouting
tachyon
power to
pulse?
shields.
Did not
Stand
work
by. I need a heading.
against the
We've only got one
caretaker
shot.
array.
Understood. On my command.
So, I'm going with shields, definitely.
Heading locked. Raise shields.
Also, we have to think of the crew outside.
This is it!
All hands, brace for impact.
Gosh. Not good. Ooh.
What happened?
We have experienced a surge of radiation.
Oh, you don't say.
This radiation supercharged the plasma, forcing it to backflush through the system and creating a dangerous imbalance.
That can blow out every primary system on the ship.
Just tell us where you need us.
I need you to traverse the hull to the access port to recalibrate the port nacelle plasma regulator.
We've reached the first access point.
Understood. Do you see the override for the level 1 failsafe circuits?
Yeah, I seem to remember on...
Affirmative.
Engage the override.
I seem to remember on the
It should
Caretaker
allow us to stop
episode.
the EPS flow to the warp engine without triggering an automatic core shutdown.
Pulse didn't work. Shields were the only thing that saved Voyager. Did I make the right decision, though?
Failsafe override engaged.
Are you sure? I am registering some crosstalk in the bypass circuit.
We need to route the signals so they don't interfere with each other.
Isolinear chips? Funny how in Star Trek to do something, we just switch the chips around really quick.
Diaz to Resolute. The failsafes are temporarily disabled. Moving on to the EPS regulator.
Heads up, Carter.
What is that?
One of the discharges coalesced.
It's coming right toward us.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna try to disrupt it with my phaser.
Ooh, phasers! Okay, Y to equip. Oh, nice. And it's the TNG style phaser? Yep.
So we gotta climb up the pylon. Not that there's really an up, but, you know.
Type we saw in Voyager. Oh, right, we've got a timer here, so we've got 5 minutes. Now, one complaint about this game I've seen is inverting the Y-axis. You can't. So you're stuck with the setting that it's on, basically. So if, like me, you like playing a lot of flight simulators, and you like inverting the axis, unfortunately you can't with this game, so you're gonna have to get used to it. That's how I play Bridge Commander. I invert the axis as well. It's the way my brain works. Oh. Oh no, no! Whoops.
Are you alright?
Yeah. Suit took most of it.
Gosh.
Just snuck up on me.
That damaged your suit. Energy dampening is down to 60%.
Oh, my phaser!
Carter!
That hurt.
Do not get hit again.
I think what doesn't help is that these plasma charges are coming from all sides. Oh boy. I think we've got there.
We're at the regulator.
Whew.
Opening the access panel.
I am now halting the EPS flow to the port nacelle. We have little time before it causes an overload in the engine. You must work efficiently.
EPS Manifold adjusters reset to neutral.
Oh, right, okay. It's, oh. Gosh.
The EPS lines to the port warp engine are back in balance. Almost done. Once I cycle the manifold nozzles, Chovak can...
Uh-oh.
Get down! DS to bridge. We just lost the docking clamp.
I literally froze then. I was like, ooh, look at that.
We've got a lot of debris coming down. All vibrations, too. We can't finish the EPS regulation in these conditions. Please advise.
We have to release the ship from that other docking clamp or the hull will be ripped apart.
There's a problem. The clamps are supposed to disengage automatically in an emergency, but it's not working.
Not working.
What are our options?
The docking clamps are fitted with exploding bolts for an emergency release.
We've got crew out there. That'd be like setting off a bomb next to them.
Maybe there's another way.
Starbase is hailing us.
Put him through.
Resolute, the remaining mooring arm is failing. You need to disengage from the starbase now. The damage to the station will be catastrophic.
The docking clamp isn't functioning. We're exploring our
The
options.
option is to detonate the emergency release.
Commander, hear me out. Reverse the polarity of the hull, which theoretically will repel the docking clamps.
And repel the engineering crew right off the hull into the storm.
This is Captain Solano. Put me on screen.
Go ahead. Captain, we have a situation.
Commander, what are you doing? Blow the bolts on the docking clamp.
The captain doesn't know the whole story.
I'm giving you an order. Jara?
Captain, you brought me here because you trusted me. Can you trust me now?
You better be sure you make the right decision.
No pressure.
The captain made himself quite clear.
They're gonna get hammered with debris out there. Reverse the polarity.
I think I'll go with Science Guy.
Protocol.
And there are lives.
Starbase, stand by. We're gonna flip hull polarity to disengage the clamps.
Yes, Commander.
Repair crew, this is Acting Captain Jara Rydek. Be advised, we are going to reverse hull polarity to free us from the remaining docking clamp. Tether yourself and deactivate your boots on my mark.
Understood.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hopefully we've done the right thing. But the other option would have killed them, wouldn't it? So we can't do that. Kind of shows you what that captain's like, really. Gosh.
I got you.
Thank you.
Plasma imbalance is reaching critical condition. We are moments from primary system failure.
I got it.
Oh. Bit hard to push this one. Of course. We saw what happened to Mr. Hawk. He struggled to pull the thing, didn't he? I remember that. Although Jean-Luc had the strength. And of course, Worf had no trouble. He just went, poof, pulled it out. Teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work. Where have I got that from? Star Trek Prodigy. Oh, that's so cheesy. Oh no. Oh. Oh gosh.
I got you.
Oh dear.
Petty Officer Edselar's hurt and unconscious. I'm gonna have to tow her back to the airlock.
Mr. Diaz, the situation has changed. You are at risk of triggering a substantial electromagnetic arc if you approach the main hull the way you came.
But Commander, the way we came is the nearest airlock.
There is an auxiliary hatch near you on the far end of the pylon. You must bring Miss Edselar there to access the interior.
All right,
Roger that.
let's go.
Go in there now. I'm at the auxiliary hatch.
Oh.
You go first.
What?
Let me save your neck this time. No time to fight me on this. Get in there!
Not on your life.
Let's not let it come down to that.
Uh-oh. Oh no! Oh no! Oh dear. It's not good, is it?
We made it.
They're safe, bringing the SIF fully online.
Do it.
Okay, well, there we go. We have completed the first chapter of Star Trek Resurgence. And honestly, I'm very impressed with the story. I like the characters, especially the first officer. I think she's got a lot of depth to her. And I think the voice acting is pretty impressive. I like how you have to make split-second decisions. It will be interesting playing through this again and picking the other options, just to see what happens. I'm intending to release an episode every few days. As I said before, I'm playing this on the Xbox Series S, and I've not come across any glitches whatsoever. So if you're having trouble with the PC and you have a Series S lying around, or a Series X, it might be worth switching to that. Although, of course, that does mean you'd have to buy it twice, I think, so maybe not. Although, I'm not sure what the PlayStation version's like, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Well, thanks for watching. The next chapter is titled The Price of Duty.